Welcome to the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. If you're looking to get more out of your Shenandoah Valley experience, then this is the podcast for you. You'll meet interesting people, the comedians that perform here, and find out more about what you can do and see. Whether you live here or plan to visit, listen to explore what helps make up our unique slice of heaven. Now here's your host, Dawn Davis Womack.
Hello, Laughers. I'm so excited to introduce you to Julie from White Oak Lavender Farm and the Purple Wolf Vineyard. White Oak Lavender Farm is owned and operated by the House-Halter family in Harrisonburg, Virginia. In the beautiful Shenandoah Valley near Massanutten Resort, they grow over 8,000 lavender plants and about 3,000 grapevines in many interesting varieties. They harvest their lavender plants in the summer to dry the flowers for buds and to extract the essential oil and hydrosol or floral water through steam distillation. They harvest their grapes in the fall to make 13 delicious wines. The farm has been open to the public since 2008 and has grown into a popular year-round agritourism venue open 7 days a week. They offer a wine tasting experience, tours, lectures, classes, a discovery area, and a lovely lavender gift shop. Welcome to the show, Julie. It's great to have you on today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me here. It's a beautiful day in the valley.
I'm
excited to be able to tell you all about White Oak Lavender.
Oh my gosh, I am too. It's so beautiful today. It is indeed for a fall day. It's kind of crazy. It feels a little bit more like spring, but we are lucky to be here. You have a gorgeous, gorgeous venue. I took my sister. You're welcome. I took my sister there because she's very much into nature and essential oils. And that was my last visit there. She wanted to spend all day there. That's right. It was a good time. There's so many things to do on your farm, so many elements that are very unique to what you have to offer. Really exciting today for me to share this with the Laughers. So my first question is, I understand your agritourism business began with lavender in 2008 first. Where did your interest and knowledge of lavender originate?
Yeah. First of all, just from a deep desire to help people with stress and anxiety. This was even before, it seems to be more relevant now than it is when I started the farm, of how incredibly important it is to people to manage their anxiety so it can lead towards better wellness in their life. And that has always been something that I've carried with me, feeling like helping people move towards some healing and wholeness in that area of stress and anxiety. And so what better connection than lavender? Fields of lavender, lots of lavender in your life, I think is really important. So I do have a really deep passion for the outcome of what happens when we can experience the outdoors and experience lavender, and do feel like it really makes a difference in our lives. We did start having an agritourism venue here before that was a thing. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm excited that agritourism has grown so that people can get in the outdoors and experience different things that farms have to offer. I am particularly excited about offering lavender. It's a bit unique, and people have a little bit of a different experience. So I look forward to this interview and telling you all about it.
Me too. I'm so curious how you learned how to extract essential oils and things. Did you yourself personally, did you take classes, or how did you get educated on all this?
Sure did. Look for mentors who are experts in that area and practice. It's distilling itself is part art and part science. You have to have just the right feel, going into it. But it's also crop knowledge. You have to understand your crop, when it's ready, when you're going to get the best oils, and just heat and temperatures and things like that. So there was a lot to learn, but it's been so much fun as an adventure.
Definitely adventure. In fact, how did you get started with this adventure with the lavender business? Did you start in farmers markets, or have you always been on this farm?
So we did start in farmers markets.
Okay.
Started just growing lavender, and we decided to start taking some lavender to the farmers market. And so we were in our local downtown Harrisonburg farmers market way back when it was a very small market. And I would demonstrate cleaning products.
No way.
putting it in white vinegar, and it's a perfect natural chemical-free cleaner for your countertops and for chrome, and will repel ants and things like that. Well, people started flocking to my table and flocking to the farm. And so after that, we decided we needed to open this to the farm to do some education and to make this connection that to me was so important about how not only is lavender incredibly useful, but it can be very healing to us too.
Okay, so I think I'm getting a better picture of this now. You did have the farm to grow the crops for the products, and then you
Absolutely.
So you were living and working on this farm for that, and you started the products in the farmers market first, our little farmers market way back when in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
And then the word just took off because I feel like every year I turn around, there's something new and wonderful going on your farm, which is just, I'm like, whoa, because I've lived here 16 years. And I remember when you guys first started and we went out there, and then just going out with my sister this last summer, it keeps getting bigger and more wonderful, in my opinion. So I really appreciate that you're here. One of the first things that you started on the farm in terms of your agritourism business, I believe it was the lavender shop, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We started doing tours in the field too, and exploring lavender. And we, of course, started making products because we were at the farmer's market. And so now we make over 100 products from either the lavender essential oil or from the flower buds. So we specialize in bath and body and spa products, but also some culinary products. And so the most common thing I think that people don't understand is that you can eat lavender, and it's an incredibly wonderful culinary herb. And so we started out doing some tea parties and lavender cookies and showing people, and those kinds of things. And now we've expanded into lots more. Lavender chocolate's incredibly popular. Doesn't love lavender.
Yeah, you had me at chocolate.
Exactly. And so lavender is a really fun herb to cook with and to spice up your life.
Yes. So so those are some of the items you can find in the shop. It's just those items that you mentioned. What else is in the shop do you think that we should know about, and what are some of your favorites?
Oh my goodness. So people drive miles, they tell us. They've come for our lavender ice cream. We have lovely, lovely creamery level ice cream with lavender. It comes in different flavors, and then also every flavor has lavender in it. And lavender is just this interesting, lovely, kinds of lavender that we can mix with sweet things like that. And then we also have savory kinds of things. So people love to have the lavender ice cream. They come for our slushies. They come for our wine slushies, which is a big deal too. And I can talk a little bit more about that when we start talking
please
about
do. Please do.
Exactly. So then we also just have a lot of other lavender related kinds of things. We have just cute things that are lavender related, like cocktail napkins and things for your home that just can remind you of lavender. We have lavender lovers who come from all over the world to come into our farm. And the first thing everybody does when they open the door, take a deep breath. Breathe. That's our motto, is just breathe.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the best parts about visiting your farm is the lovely floral scents and the lavender that you breathe in it is delightful and very relaxing, to be sure. But you didn't stop there with the lavender shop. Oh no, there was more. There was definitely more. Now we have a vineyard. So when and why did you decide to add the vineyard?
Yeah, actually, because we're a family farm, that's my daughter's passion. My daughter worked out in Napa, and then she is a hospitality and tourism major at school, and then she worked at another vineyard, getting them started. And eventually she said, you know what? I'd like to come home. But if I'm going to come home and work at the farm, I'd like to start a vineyard. So as a good mama, I said no for 2 years.
I was not expecting that, Julie. I was like, I was a good mama. And I said, of course, but no.
Nope. She and our winemaker, who is a very good family friend, Randy Phillips, they twisted my arm and they said, all right, we'll tell you what. If we're going to keep this a lavender thing, you work on the culinary part, the lavender flavorings, and we'll have Randy be doing the wine. So it takes some of the risk away. And that's what's, of course, my worry. A winery is a huge investment to be able to begin to invest in vines and grapes. It takes a lot of time. So we started that journey, and wow, was it the right decision to make in our lives? And so we do have a lovely set of wines that we have. We are an off-dry winery, but we have some beautiful dessert wines too. And so we have 13 different wines, including a new sparkling that we've just introduced. 7 of those wines do have lavender. It took us a couple of years to really work out the right recipes for how we wanted to best infuse our lavender and what kind of flavors are going to be better. There are lots of kinds of lavenders, and of course, there's different varietals of grapes. And so it's really important to do a nice pairing of those things. We've also recently been licensed as a limited brewery, so we're able to sell beers on site. So we just do draft beer. We have 4 draft beers that we are now working with, beginning the process of lavender flavoring for some of that beer. And so it's going to be very interesting. We're working with 3 Roads Brewery, who is an excellent brewery in the Valley also. And they're in Lexington. And they've decided that they could walk out on this journey with us and play with the different flavorings. So we're really excited about that. And we just invite people to be able to come and try some of these different interesting beverages.
Definitely. So you have some seasonal specialty wines also. Do you have one going on right now?
So the thing that is people really love to try are seasonal specialty wine slushies.
Okay.
Wine slushies have really become something in the wine industry, and particularly here, they're very popular.
Yes.
And so we always have a variety of different seasonal flavors. Right now we have 4, and it includes a sangria, a fall sangria, and we have a spiced kind of a lavender slushy also, wine slushy. We also always have our white our lavender slushy that is made with what's called Dragonfly, one of our very special lavender wines. And we have a red a red slushy that is made with our Pardon My Purple, which is our #1 selling wine. So they're terrifically popular. In the summer, we do carry summer flavors. They're a little bit lighter and more fruity. And then we switch to some of these deeper flavors in the fall and can switch up a little bit in the winter too. In the summer, we also offer some white sangria wines. And in the winter, we do some mulled wine. So not slushies, but some of the wines are also specialty wines. So it really is a fun thing to try. Again, people are just so surprised that lavender doesn't taste like soap. Lavender can be lovely. And so, for example, what happens in the wine is that it cuts through the acidic finish of wine. And so in our Chardonnay wine that we have that's infused with lavender, the most common comment is, "Oh, I don't really love Chardonnay, but I love this wine." Mm-hmm. And partly it's because it takes away some of the bite that people might experience. Mm-hmm. Other kinds of things are like lavender is very great for neutralizing acid even in your stomach. And so it does the same chemical reaction in the wine. So sometimes people could be bothered by red wines, and mm-hmm. Seems like the wine with the lavender in it, that people don't have that same reaction. And so they're able to handle drinking the red wine without having any stomach issues. And so we're just excited about that. So it's certainly, we're getting people from all over the world that are coming to the farm and experiencing this lavender wine. And now this lavender beer will be coming out.
I know, that's so exciting. I can't wait to check out the lavender beer also. So Randy is your winemaker, and he's a family friend you guys have known for a long time, right? Is that what you were saying earlier?
He is an excellent award-winning winemaker in the state of Virginia. And he's a very lovely, gracious person. And he had taken my daughter under his arms as a mentor, because this was the industry that she was the most interested in. And so he has taught her so much, and continues just to be incredible for working with us on these different flavored wines. Not every winemaker in the world would be willing to take that kind of a risk with something like that of a flavoring. And so Randy does an excellent job and makes sure he ensures that we have delicious tasting wine. It's not just a phenomena or kind of a weird one. So it's very nice.
Yeah, it is. And when you say, not everyone would take on that risk, is it combining the wine with the lavender, or what do you mean by risk? Like what would hold some winemakers back?
Introducing different kinds of flavorings to a grape.
I got you.
Yeah, that's not just a pure straight varietal or just a blend of varietal of just grapes. It's adding something else botanical to the grape. Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Do all the grapes, yes. Do all the grapes come from your vineyard? And what is the process for developing these new exciting combinations of grapes and lavender types?
A lot of tastings involved in that.
Where am I? I need to be at these tastings.
Exactly. We line them up, we taste them all, and we vote.
That's awesome.
Oh, goodness. Yes. And so all of the wine does come from estate grown grapes that are either at Randy's property or here on our property. Yes.
Oh, that's really wonderful. How long does it take to come up with a new and exciting flavor? Like from beginning of the idea to now we have a new bottled wine that's available for sale.
Good question. And that's because sometimes we can have an idea and we think something's going to work really well. And it takes time, first of all, to make sure you have a good harvest on that particular varietal of grape. Harvest differ from year to year. So it's important first to start out with good, healthy crop of both your vineyard and the lavender. And then it's just finding the synergy of those two flavors of what's going to go well together. And then it also takes like concentration. You have to just figure out how much concentration for each variety of grape is going to be appropriate in order to have an outcome that's an acceptable, delicious wine. And so it takes some time. It can take, obviously whites, the grapes are going to be at least 6 months, and the reds can be several years. We have a port that had a Chamberson grape in it, and that particular type of grape could take 3 to 5 years in the barrel.
Really?
Be correct and ready. And so it really, really depends on each varietal of grape and what we're going to do with it. Absolutely.
In the wine business, it sounds like the long game is your friend.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to be a very patient human being. Open up.
That's why I love it. So well done. And it takes time and investment and care. That's why I love wine, people. Laughers. That's why I do. Are you a wine lover? Do you like wine?
Yes. Of course, we all do. And it's just, you can tell when there's been care put into a vineyard. Something about that wine is just very, very special. And you can tell certain wines just have a life of their own, and they just seem so special. So it's good. It's good to try different wines. We do tastings so that people, because we have such different types of flavors, we recommend that people do a wine tasting when they come to the farm. And that is just a sample of all. We do 12 on the tasting. We don't do the sparkling. We do those separately. But everyone can then take a taste and see what they think, because they might be a little bit afraid of trying a lavender wine. But when you're doing the tasting, it's just a sip of each. And then, oh boy, everybody comes back either for a glass or they go home with bottles.
Which is a good thing. Yeah, that's right. We were like sisters on that together. It's a good thing. Laughers, you must go try this lavender infused wine. That's what you must do. And you can actually, Laughers have one of their wine club memberships. They have quarterly and semi-annual in-state and out-of-state memberships. That's pretty exciting. I don't know how standard that is or not. You can speak on that. But what are some of your benefits that come with your wine club?
Well, first of all, the wine club are for people who have they share a love of wine and a love of lavender. And our wine club, when you join, you're part of the Purple Wolf Pack. And the wolf, of course, the acronym for White Oak Lavender Farm is wolf. And so you become wolf pack. And it's the Purple Wolf Pack. And so it's a lot of fun. We do some special events with the Purple Wolf Pack. We also, of course, there's lots of discounts involved for your wine and regular shipments, or online and in the store for all our lavender products. And so it is a really nice kind of a membership to have if people really love lavender. The cost of the what they choose for the wine club is different levels, and it pays off immediately just in the things that you like to shop for in the gift shop. And so it's a pretty unique sort of a wine club since we have the Lavender Farm also. And so then we do offer for those that can come, and people do come to the Valley all the time for vacation. We have folks that will come to our wine club pickup parties that are from other states, from other places, because they come and stay at one of the resorts in our local area. It's an incredibly beautiful place to come and visit, and there's so much to do in our area. And so we have people that pick up their wine twice a year and sometimes even more, and others that only can come once a year that pick up their wine. And we will work with all those different configurations because that's important. We want everybody just to be happy and have their lavender wine. So, yeah.
Putting a lot of smiles on people's faces, Julie. That's what you're doing.
All about the giggles and grins.
I believe that. I say amen.
Exactly.
You have experience with nature on your farm too. There's a discovery area there that's home to your interactive gardens. I see on the website what's in it, but I would love if you could speak on the podcast about what's in it and how in the world did you come up with this idea?
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to this deep desire to be able to have people experience something that helps to lower their anxiety and their stress in their life. You know, it's a bigger picture than just having the fun that we have with the winery and all the lavender. We do want to change people's lives. And so I feel like the Great Outdoors is an amazing classroom and is a great teacher. And so we wanted our gardens to not just be something that people walk through, but that they could interact with. And so we have built specifically like a walking labyrinth. And we teach how to walk a labyrinth and how to discern and think about things in life, how to learn how to be more thankful. We have mailboxes all around the farm that people can open the mailbox like a lending library box and pick out an activity to do, or even just some good encouraging thoughts and things that they can do. Sometimes I have things in it that people can fill out and leave for somebody else to read. It makes it quite a fun kind of a journey around the farm. We have a life-size checkerboard. We have adult swings. We want you to get back in touch with being outdoors and get in touch with your inner self and your inner child and have some fun. The children that come to the farm also just really we have an imagination station. They get to walk through the different areas and kind of explore textures and look at some different things. And again, that's all outdoors. We have a peacekeeping circle where we have some beautiful stained glass, and you can sit with the horses in the background and the alpaca coming up to the fence asking for a nibble while you're sitting by the stained glass and kind of reflecting on your life. So we want to provide space for people to interact with wildlife and to be outdoors, but to also be family or to be by themselves. We get a lot of people that are on healing journeys and just want to find the solace that they can have in a quiet space. And it's a beautiful space for all of these different kinds of things we can make it adapt to. So, yeah.
I love how you've created this place where people can connect with other ones in their lives that they love and care about, but also how you can connect back to yourself, which the beginning of healing starts with self-love and self-care. So that's a beautiful offering, Julie.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it has been what it drives us. It keeps us going. Farming's not a simple thing. And I think a lot of people who visit the farm think, oh, I want to do this. I have a couple of acres and I'm going to do this. And I say, that's wonderful. I'd love you to add to more lavender to the world. That would be incredible. But do know it's farming first. You have to do the hard work. It doesn't just magically appear. You got to weed. I think some of this is just a good example of even our own lives. You've got to go through some of the stuff in yourself too. You got to weed out those things and get to your inner self in order to learn how to love yourself and to be less anxious in the world. And so that's why this all fits and it works together really well. We start with really young children, even on preschoolers that come on field trips. We teach them breathing exercises.
Aww.
We try them ways that if they should ever find themselves in circumstances that they're afraid or that their feelings are hurt, how they can learn to breathe so that they can make a good decision about what they can do next. Boy, has that become more relevant in the world than it was when we first started out in 2000.
Absolutely. Yes.
The world has changed. And so we feel like we're headed in the right direction. We continually add things to the farm that we feel are relevant to what's going on in the world right now. We want to keep things fresh for our local folks that come regularly to the farm. And we want to make it exceptionally unique for those that are doing tourism and coming to the area and exploring the valley for the first time. We want them to remember that this was just something a little bit different and that the valley has something special to offer.
That is so beautiful on so many levels. So many of us, our parents did the best they could. And they were programmed from their parents who did the best they could. And then those parents were programmed for the parents before that did the best they could. And I think there's just this beautiful growing knowledge of how important it is to be connected to ourselves and do the self-care and the self-love and do that breathing and take that time to connect, because then we move to a space where we're responding and becoming more self-aware rather than reacting, so if we have that gives us just a lot of space. And for little ones, that's important work you guys are providing for little ones to learn that. I'm sure it's rubbing off on some of their parents too that may have never been exposed to it, right?
Absolutely. And we often get those kind of comments on our tours that we do. We offer tours in the summertime, guided tours. And I do all these different exercises with the tour. And it often is adults that have the strongest response to that. Sometimes, tears in the eyes or that sort of thing too, just because they're getting in touch with themselves and hearing what they know they want to do and forgiving ourselves for anything that we've done that's not been perfect, because we're human, and being that tomorrow's a new day and we can start. We're just learning lessons as we go. And so hopefully that also is affecting their parenting skills and how they influence the people that are in their arena around them. And so, it works for anger management. It works for road rage. These kinds of things. And lavender is tied to an incredible ability to be able to calm our nerves and to be able to get ourselves into a space where we can relax enough to access our brain cells and begin to make a better decision in the next moment rather than just have a reaction. And that's our goal. And certainly it's something that we teach on every single tour. We do personal guided tours, and we do audio tours that are available at any given time that we're open on the farm. And we feel like that's really important to be able to reach people with a little bit more than, just walking around the farm.
Yeah, that's really great. Now, for the discovery area, when is it open? And is there a fee and membership available for the? Yeah.
Anyone who arrives on the farm, it's $3 people to over two. It's $3 to go out into the discovery area, but we do have memberships for people who live here locally that like to come a lot. For a single membership, it's $15 for the year, and for a family membership, it's $45 for the year. And so we have a lot of young families who belong to the farm with a membership so that they can come. It's a great space to have little ones be able to run in a safe environment and jiggle out those wiggles.
I like that.
Always a good thing. And then they end with a little bit of lavender ice cream, and it all works.
Those kids are begging to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to hear little ones say lavender. That would be fun too.
Lavenders.
Lavenders. Yeah, a lot of lavenders. That's really great. Yeah, it's a family-friendly farm known also for its assortment of farm animals. You mentioned the horses and the alpacas. Are there other farm animals?
Oh, yes. We have a whole farm family. So as far as the horses, we have 6 different horses. Bogart and Red are best friends. They're little miniature horses.
Are they?
Quest is a large thoroughbred horse, and he's as gentle can be. And he wears in the summertime, people always come running and saying, "What is that on the horse's face?" He has a fly that he loves to put on every day. He'll dip his head down to get that fly mask on so that he doesn't get flies in his eyes. And he's just a special, special guy. We also have a pony that is just delightful for people to watch and do. So the alpaca, we have 4 little alpaca boys, and Farley, who's sort of a reddish brown alpaca, gives kisses at the fence. If you come up to the fence, he's super friendly and gives kisses. Alpaca are known for their fiber. And so we do shear the alpaca, and it gets sent off to a co-op, and it can come back as mittens and gloves. But the daughter's in charge of the alpaca fiber, and she cleans that fiber and makes sure it gets to the co-op. So it's really special. We also have 2 incredibly unique sheep. They're lambs. They're little boy lambs, but they're huge this year, and they're called Valais black-nosed sheep. And so everybody needs to come and see them. Their tagline, a Valais black-nosed sheep, their tagline is the friendliest sheep in the world. And I'm telling you, we can put a saddle on them and ride them. And they're smart. They come from Switzerland. They're in what's called a breed-up program for the United States. They're just now getting to be some full-blooded ones here. And so we have 2 little boys that are incredible. They're gorgeous, and they just snuggle up with people. They're so sweet. I also have 4 baby goats that I bottle fed this past year, so they're really people friendly, and they are as crazy as a hoot as goats can be. So I've been teaching them to walk on a leash. And Peanut are one of the goats that's spotted. She's doing great on her leash walking. Reese's, every time I put her on the leash, she plays dead.
I love Reese.
He won't walk on that leash for anything. Oreo, I had her out on the leash this summer, and something was tugging on my dress like a child. I wasn't really paying attention. I was talking to a customer, and I looked down, and she ate a hole right in my dress. The goats are your typical goats, and they're into something all the time, but their personalities are big, and they're friendly, and they're wonderful. So they're a lot of fun. We also have rabbits in what we call our habitat.
Okay.
So I always have to teach the children that's not a real word. It's a rabbit habitat that we've blended to call the rabbitat. And so we have little bunnies that are inside a great big area that's called the rabbitat, so that they're not in a cage. They tunnel. We lined the whole thing with concrete way down deep around the fence line so they couldn't burrow out. And they dig deep down. And they're having a great time burrowing around. We also have specialty chickens. We've got a lot of chickens. They are all egg-laying hens. And so we call them the girlfriends. And they free range all over the farm. They free range. We have some of the exotic kinds of breeds. So they have the feathers on their head and feathers on their feet. We have lavender chickens. Of course, they're just gray, but they're called lavender chickens. We had to have those. So, yeah, we just really love our animals and have a wonderful farm family. And I think people really enjoy them.
There are so many farm animals. There's way many farm animals than I ever realized. And I really want to see Reese's play dead.
Oh my, she's quite the thing. She likes attention.
Does that ever happen?
Princess.
Does she ever do that? Is it a she? Reese's?
Yes,
Is she?
they're all
Okay.
girls. They're all
Okay.
girls.
Right. Okay. So does this ever happen when people are on the farm, her playing dead?
Oh yeah, just only on the leash. She doesn't do that
Right.
unless she didn't like to walk out there for the leash. Then she gets upset when her sister gets to go because the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. Kind of looking, but I figured that out. She'd come.
This one has a sense of humor, and I'm loving
Oh, yes, she does. Yes, she does.
I've never heard of that before. I'm so tickled by it. Oh,
Only at the Lavender Farm.
That's right. Only at the Lavender Farm.
That's right. That's
Are
right.
you guys dog friendly at all? Do you allow dogs?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So, yeah, dogs are allowed in the winery area and up in the front half of the farm. They are not allowed in the back of the discovery area that's fenced off where all the animals are residing. Just because, obviously we'd have to have make sure of vaccines and that kind of thing. So, and dogs can come and stay on the front side of the farm.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you have these audio guided farm tours. Is that through the discovery area and beyond, or where does the audio guided farm tours take you on the farm?
Oh, yeah, great question. So there are 10 stations on the audio tour, and it's me recorded at each station telling them, about the different areas. There's polls on the farm with numbers on it, and you can go to any poll at any time and put in that number and hear about that section. And so it actually starts at the front of the farm and then moves around to the back and takes you to the different stations and explains them, so that people can walk away if they haven't had time to be able to come for the actual in-person guided tour. This is an excellent option. So, yeah.
That's great. And then there's seasonal lavender farm tours. And why are they seasonal? It's because of when the lavenders bloom, I take it, or what is that about? Yeah.
So the guided tour they start at Memorial Weekend in May, and sometimes not. The lavender's not quite in bloom yet. Lavender just starts to bloom. We have different species of lavender, and the earliest species is usually late May, early June, depending on the weather. And then a couple weeks later, everything starts to be in bloom. So June and July is the prime bloom for all the different species of lavender. Then we do get a fall bloom again. The first species starts to come back into bloom a little bit later. And so we do our guided walking tour during that time because it includes a U-pick. And so we go to each area of the farm. People can ask questions about growing lavender. Our fresh plants are here at that time too, because that's when we sell our plants, is all spring and summer through fall. And we talk about planting. We talk about growing lavender. We do distilling. And so every guided tour goes to the distillery and we demonstrate how the distilling process happens. And then we go to the drying barn and we demonstrate how to cook with lavender, and we show how to dry the lavender so you can prepare it to save your own lavender then for the winter for cooking and that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's just a really fun tour. People really enjoy it. I think they learn a lot about lavender. We talk about the history of the farm also, because we are a historical farm. So we have a little bit of that too for people who are history buffs, and we do our breathing exercises too.
Even on those. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, you mentioned U-picks real quick, but what are U-picks?
A U-pick is when it's a cut your own. So the lavender and we give you scissors and we teach you how to properly cut the lavender. And so people will cut big bouquets of lavender.
Oh, yeah, that would smell great on the dinner table or in the house somewhere. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. And you could dry it and save it forever. So it's amazing.
It is beautiful. Lavender's beautiful. Mm-hmm. In any condition, I feel.
It is. Both fresh and dried. It's lovely.
It is. And Laffers can also rent the farm for private parties also, weddings and vow renewals. There's so much to do, and you have events available to the public also, such as live music, which is really awesome. And then you have a couple of other unique events to boot. And I'd like to learn more about one of them, and that is your Firefly Night. What is the Firefly Night all about? I think it sells out from what I saw on the website. So you got to get.
Does. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important to get that ticket early. So it's a family event night, and we focus on firefly education. We talk about how important it is in relationship to light pollution and how it's important for us to keep the fireflies healthy. We do a catch and release program. So all the people who sign up that like to have a ticket to make a firefly habitat jar, we make the jars, and then they can, as soon as it gets to be dark, they can go start catching fireflies. And then at the end of the event, we meet and we talk a little bit about fireflies, and we release them all together. So then all the fireflies go back. It's a beautiful event. We also have just a lot of fun things at the event too. The kids get a slushie, and we have rock painting. We did kindness rocks this year, and it can be face painting. It can be lots of different kinds of activities that we do. We always have music there for the adults to enjoy. I get a lot of adults just buy tickets.
I know. I'm thinking about it. All right, I got to get mine this year. I got to get it.
We started out thinking it was just a children's event. And oh boy, did we learn quickly.
I know.
A lot of young at heart. And that's really important. Stay that way. So it's good.
And a lot of nostalgia too.
It is.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but I just, so keep that thought. But I was just thinking about, this is bringing me back as a young kid catching fireflies in the backyard. That was a big thing.
It's spectacular. Yeah. We have good memories of that. And I think that we have, children who come to us later in the year and say, oh, I come for Firefly Night every year. And it's just, it's become a part of their tradition too, as a family. So it's really wonderful. We love having that. And I think that they're learning something about how important it is having to do with light pollution in their yard lights and, just to have downward lights versus the bright parking lots and stuff. And I hope we're making a difference in raising a generation that begins to understand that it's not all about us and it's not all about, so we have to take care of nature.
Mm-hmm. Care of nature and each other. That's for sure. What are the differences between your field trips and the guided tours? Is there a difference between them?
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Field trips are specifically for younger children. Okay. We have a lot of grade schools and preschools that like to come on one type of field trip. And then we have older grade schoolers or even high schoolers that like to come on another type of field trip. And so we gear it towards the age. So the young children all get to go with the animals and pet and do that kind of thing too. Of course, we teach some of the relaxation activities. If it's a beautiful sunny day, we lay on our back and stare at the sky and we breathe and we learn how to walk the labyrinth and think of things that we're grateful for at every turn of the labyrinth and all those kinds of things. With older students, we often can do something what's called in the peacekeeping circle, we use a talking piece, and we use a lavender wand, which is woven out of the lavender in the summer when it's fresh and it smells incredible, as our talking piece. And we will pass it around. And of course, when you have the stick, it's your turn to talk, but everybody else needs to be doing really active, deep listening. And so it becomes this very active activity about listening to one another. And it's sort of a fun kind of a thing. So we vary the field trips based on what it is. It might be that we have one group that's studying science and they really want to know about the growing of the plants or distilling. And so we will gear that, towards that group also. So we have the ability to be able to, flex it up and down based on developmental skills of children. Young children do little crafts too. We always make little sachets with the lavender, or we do soap pounding with a lavender soap. Some kinds of things like that.
Soap pounding. I sound like I really know what that is, but I don't.
It's just decorative soap with little rubber mallets and little stamp things.
Oh, okay.
It's like when you emboss something, they're embossing the soap basically with a rubber stamp mallet.
I got you. Go ahead.
It gives chance to talk about the lavender and about breathing in and just the cleanliness of lavender and how it kills germs and things like that too. So it's all about education.
Education. So do you have like meditation groups or yoga groups out there or?
Oh, we have pre-COVID. I haven't had anything since COVID, but pre-COVID, we had several yoga teachers that would come out and either teach yoga in the field or up on our lavender deck. They would have yoga classes there. We had a massage therapist who would put up a tent in the lavender field and have her table set up. People could sign up for massages out in the lavender field when it was in bloom. So we've done a variety of different kinds of things, and we're open to that when professionals want to come and offer something. We try to work really hard. Lots of photographers come set up sessions and things like that.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's beautiful backdrops back there.
Yes.
Thank you for bringing that up. You're about education. You have classes. You have some fun, crafty classes also. You've got wreath making, wand weaving classes, and a wine and craft series coming soon. Can you tell us more about each of them, what the Laughers will learn, and how to sign up?
Absolutely. So these are very popular classes. The wreath making class and the wand weaving class have to happen when the lavender is in bloom. And so it's important to look on our webpage and to usually by the first of the year, we make those links active so that people can go ahead and make the reservations. We offer them several times during mid to late June and early July. There'll be different days of the week that we will offer the wreath making and the wand making. So wand weaving is when you have ribbons. It's a colonial craft.
Really?
Yeah, and sometimes they called them bottles, lavender bottles in the old days. But it's taking the lavender and you're making a bunch of lavender that you turn inside out and you weave it with a beautiful color ribbon, and it dries so that you have it looks like a wand, and they're beautiful and they last for multiple years, like 10 years, lots of years that they will hold their scent. And so people will come out and learn how to do that, and then they'll go crazy making them for Christmas presents for everybody. It's really great. Then they just come to the U-Pick and pick their own and just make lots of them after they've learned how to do it. So it's a lot of fun. The glass painting, different kinds of classes. Sometimes I typically will teach glass painting classes. Simple. You don't have to be an artist to be successful at that. I have some stencils. We also, breathe in the lavender while we're doing that and have our glass of wine. Wine is available during any class that we're teaching. People can have a glass of wine too. So it's fun just to get a group of your friends and, or your significant other and come and take a class together. It's very special.
Yeah. Yeah. The wine and craft. That's what you mean by painting the glasses. That's the wine and craft series, right?
Yeah. We do some different things, but pretty much right this minute, it's mostly the glass painting kinds of things. We've had artists in the past who've done the, like a paint night kind of a thing where they've done canvases, but I don't teach that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Which one do you teach? Which ones do you teach? Do you teach any of them?
Always wreath making. Rebecca does most of the wand making classes, but we both know how to do both of them. And glass painting. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is Rebecca your daughter?
She is, yes.
Okay. She's the wine lady I need to know.
She is. Multifaceted. She is so talented. She's an incredible young woman. So.
Oh, that's great. Well, what do you hope people will feel and experience when, I think you've alluded to it a little bit, but I want you to expand on it a bit. What do you hope people will feel and experience when they visit White Oak Lavender and Purple Wolf?
Really, I would love people to walk away saying, oh, that was amazing. And it was a little bit different. I feel a little different leaving this farm. I want people to be affected in a very positive way, just perhaps a little shift inside of them that opens them up a little bit to possibilities of feeling better about themselves, of being less anxious, of opening themselves to new ideas and new resolution to kinds of problems that they might be having in their life. So the key for me is for people to leave a little bit changed and feeling better about walking into the world again and feeling braver and more confident and just better about themselves.
That's really beautiful. Thank you so much. As we wrap up here, can you share with the Laughers how they can follow White Oak Lavender and Purple Wolf Vineyard on social media or otherwise to get more information?
Oh, yes. Please follow us on both Facebook and Instagram at White Oak Lavender. And lavender is spelled with an ER at the end. The most common mistake is people put an AR. And our webpage, you can find out lots of information and register for our classes at whiteoaklavender.com.
That's beautiful. I'm glad you mentioned that ER part because in preparation for this interview, I did that about a bazillion times.
It's very common. You're not alone. It's all.
I was like, how many times, Dawn, does it take you to learn this?
Oh, that's all right. We're all human.
That's right. That's right. Laughers, we'll be sure to put all that information for you in the show notes as well. So you don't have to worry about if you're working out or driving. It'll be right there. And thank you, Julie. This has been an absolute delight to learn more about all things White Oak Lavender and the Purple Wolf Vineyard. I love it all. It's been great speaking with you today, and I very, very much look forward to my next visit to the farm. Thanks again for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me. And my message to everyone is just breathe.
Oh, that couldn't have been better said. I just breathed right there. Laughers, to get more information on all the things you can do and experience on the farm, like their lavender shop, the discovery area, events, classes, wine, now beer, and more, be sure to visit their website at White Oak Lavender. That's with an ER.com. whiteoaklavender.com. We'll be sure to put all their info in the show notes as well. And of course, lastly, and most importantly, thanks for tuning in, Laughers. Out of all the podcasts out there, you picked us, and we think that's pretty darn special, just like you. Until next time, keep smiling. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Virginia is for Laughers podcast, brought to you by X2 Comedy. We'll be dropping a new podcast every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so check back for another uplifting episode. Come to an X2 Comedy show or let us bring a show to you. To find out more, head to x2comedy.com. Be sure to share us with a friend. Until next time, cheers.